Last year, in a quiet moment of prayer, the Lord asked me a question that shook me to my core. Do you fully trust me? It wasn't loud or dramatic, but it pierced deep, so deep that I couldn't shake it. It lingered for weeks, echoing in my spirit every time I tried to move on with life and ministry. At first, I thought it was a simple question about faith, but the more I sat with it, the more I realized God was inviting me into an examination, a holy confrontation with the hidden attachments of my heart. He wasn't asking because he didn't know the answer. He was asking because I didn't. He wanted me to see the quiet places where I still leaned on my own understanding, my own plans, my own sense of control. His question was gentle but surgical, uncovering the places where fear and self-sufficiency had become unspoken idols. That's when I learned something sobering. Anything we love, trust, or fear more than God has already become an idol. Paul writes in Colossians 3 verse 5 that covetousness is idolatry. The word used here, Strong's G 4124, pleonexia, means an insatiable desire for more. Whether more security, more affirmation, or more control. It's the subtle craving that drives us to depend on something else instead of God. Idolatry, then, is not only about worshiping other gods, it's about where our trust lives when we're afraid. The Israelites struggled with this repeatedly. God had delivered them from Egypt, yet in moments of fear, they turned back to what was familiar. In Exodus 32 verses 1 to 4, they built a golden calf not because they stopped believing in God's existence, but because they wanted something they could see and control. In that same way, our idols today may not be statues, but securities, plans, relationships, reputations, or possessions that we depend on more than we depend on Him. The prophets call this spiritual adultery. In Isaiah 31 verses 1 to 3, God rebukes Israel for trusting Egypt for protection instead of relying on Him. Woe to those who go down to Egypt for help. But do not look to the Holy One of Israel. Their sin wasn't that they denied God, it was that they replaced Him. When God asked me, "Do you fully trust me?" He was revealing how trust and idolatry are inseparable opposites. You can't do both. You can't fully trust Him and partially depend on something else. Jesus made it clear in Matthew 6 verse 24, no one can serve two masters. To love one is to inevitably despise the other, even unintentionally. So, how do we recognize competing loves? By asking three simple but searching questions. What do I love most? What do I trust most? And what do I fear most? Whatever holds the deepest answer to those questions is what truly sits on the throne of our hearts. If we love a dream, trust a plan, or fear loss more than we revere God, that thing has quietly taken His place. Ezekiel 14 verses 3 to 5 speaks of people who set up idols in their hearts. That's where idolatry begins, internally, not externally. It hides behind good intentions, spiritual language, and busy ministry. But God's voice still comes, cutting through the noise, asking us to examine ourselves, as Paul urges in 2 Corinthians 13 verse 5. Test yourselves to see if you are in the faith. When the Lord asked me that question, it wasn't condemnation, it was invitation. He was calling me to trust Him completely, not partially. He was pulling me from the shaky ground of self-reliance back to the firm foundation of His faithfulness. And I believe that same question echoes for every believer who wants to walk in fullness. Do you fully trust me? It's not just a question about faith, it's a revelation of love. Because anything we love, trust, or fear more than God will eventually compete for his place. And in his mercy, God will expose those idols, not to shame us, but to set us free, bringing us back to the undivided devotion of a heart that can truly say, "Yes, Lord, I trust you."